So how many of you out there feel like there's something wrong with you? Like you're broken in some way? Like you're different to everyone else? You're somehow fundamentally flawed? You compare yourself to everyone else around you? Well, one of my viewers reached out to me the other day with that exact question, that for 20 years they felt like something's wrong with them. And despite trying everything that they can, everything that they know, they only feel 0.01% better. What if that really painful, heavy belief isn't actually the truth? It's not actually about you, it's not who you are, but something really painful, failings that happened to you a long time ago. So if it's okay, I'm going to read out the email or just bullet points of it and then unpack it as we go along and move through it. And hopefully you'll resonate and hopefully something will shift for you. So they opened and said they felt like something was wrong with them for 20 years, that they've tried everything they know, but they've only seen about 0.01% improvement. And how true is that for many of us? If you're watching this, you've probably tried meditation, mindfulness, maybe some therapy, CBT, positive mindset hacks, and yet nothing's really helped. You still feel the same. You still feel like something's broken. And it's often a nagging feeling. It comes up in situations when you're triggered. And it's something that I'm fascinated by. They go on to say that they're a good person. They have attachments. They have dreams. They want to do so much more in the future. But this belief that something is wrong with me feels like a strong barrier. And that's exactly how it feels. There's this idea that you're somehow broken, and it keeps you stuck in every facet, every walk of your life, in your relationships, your love life, your marriage, with your children, in your work life. It somehow keeps you stuck, because if you carry this belief that there's something wrong with you, it stops you from really living, from really putting yourself out there and fulfilling your dreams and doing what it is that you really want to do. And they finish beautifully, which I loved, and they said, from human to human, is there anything I can do to finally reach the feeling I'm looking for and achieve my dreams? Now, they don't actually share, um, when they say reach what I'm looking for and achieve their dreams, they don't actually share what that is, but I assume it's to finally feel whole, to feel like there's nothing wrong with them. And that's exactly what I do in my work with developmental trauma. Need some water. So to start this, we really need to look at where that belief comes from. Now, the person that emailed in shared that for 20 years they felt like this, and they shared with their age, and that would make them a young adult at the time. But I would hazard a guess that if we dug deeper and unpicked it, it was probably a long time before that they actually felt they carried this heavy burden of feeling like something's wrong with them. And when we're really young, when we're children, we are so susceptible to the environment that we're brought up in from our parents or our primary caregivers. And if we're made to feel like we're not enough, we're not good enough, that we're somehow flawed, if we're not seen and validated 100% authentically, beautifully as we are, then we develop adaptive mechanisms as adults. And if you've seen any of my other videos, I mention attachment theory. And all of this is survival to ensure a strong attachment to our parents, a strong bond, because we're literally helpless without that. So we do whatever we can to sometimes almost have this guise, this impression that there's love and all our needs are met, when they're simply not. And I'll always say this isn't necessarily about blame, but it's just awareness to see that where this stuff comes from. And I really hope you hear in my voice, this isn't who you are. This idea that something's wrong with you isn't actually about you. It was an incredibly beautifully powerful way to adapt, to survive in an environment that failed you, that wasn't right for you. And I can share with you stories from my own adult life where this has really shown up for me. I remember I'd been doing a lot of meditation and mindfulness, and it helped shift some of the stuff, some of those feelings that I wasn't good enough. And I was painfully shy, crippled by shyness. And I decided that I wanted to do yoga. My plan was to run a marathon, and I've never been that bendy or stretchy. And I found a local class not too far from me, and I plucked up the courage to go, because doing new things for me was always so terrifying. I would never do them. And I thought, yeah, I can do this. And I remember getting into my car, and it was just out in the country. It's beautiful settings. And I pulled up literally outside the building, and I froze. I couldn't get out of the car. I just was petrified. I felt embarrassed. I thought, if I walk in there, I'm going to look stupid. What if I'm the only man? What if, because I'm not bendy, what if I'm the worst there? And all this stuff was going on in my head. I felt overwhelmed. I froze. My nervous system literally went into a freeze, a shutdown, and I got out of there. And I never showed up for that. And if we unpick that quickly, briefly, that's not because of that's who I am. That's this belief that I carried all my life from childhood, that I wasn't enough, I wasn't good enough. And that came from my mum. God bless her, she was narcissistic. So she always made me feel that I wasn't enough as I was, as I am. So I hope you can start to see that just these little things that we carry with us aren't actually ours. They stem from decades back when we were much, much younger. I really want to hit this home. I hope this doesn't seem repetitive, but developmental trauma, which is what this is when we weren't fully attuned to as children. Our needs weren't met. We need to be seen. We need to turn up into the world and not be judged, not be criticized, not be told we're too much or we're not enough, we're too shy, we're too extroverted. If our parents don't have, or our primary caregivers don't have the emotional capacity to be okay with their feelings, their emotions, then there is no way that they can attune to us and give us what we need. So instead of feeling like they're broken, instead of looking at them and thinking, oh my God, my parents are a bit rubbish, they're a bit crap, I'll just crack on with it, we turn that flashlight, that spotlight onto us. We just pile on this judgment, this criticism. We must be broken. It can't be them because of attachment. It must be us. And somehow we feel like we can resolve that, because if the parent's broken, there's nothing we can do. So we turn that on us. I must be broken. And that protects the attachment. And then we carry that into adult life. That broken, that sense of I'm not good enough, there's something wrong with me, is carried on into adult life. And I really want you to hear that, because going back to the viewer's question where they asked, the email where they asked the question, what's wrong with me? There's this feeling that something's wrong with me. There really isn't. There really isn't. It was just something you've carried with you from childhood, from a very early age. And how do we unpick that? Because that was ultimately what the email was asking me. How do I feel like I'm okay so I can go out there and achieve my dreams, whatever they might be? Well, the answer to that isn't in looking at the mind and trying to I always say positive mindset, fake it till you make it, just try, because it won't work, because this stuff is stored in our nervous system. So unfortunately, the honest answer is there is no quick solution, but we have to be curious. And step one to that is recognizing where that comes from. It's listening to me now and hearing that it's not you. You are not broken. This is something you've carried. And then once you start to see that, once you start to understand that, you can explore those unmet feelings that you couldn't explore when you were younger. Now, as an adult, in the present moment, you become more clear, you become to see them, you can feel them, and it can be really painful and really emotional, but really beautiful. And I'll drop a link in the description below to a PDF that I created, which talks all about this stuff. It explains why you're not broken and where it all comes from and how to move through it. If this has stirred something in you, woken something in you, then I really encourage you and invite you to watch this video next, because I think it will help deepen the understanding. Have a beautiful day. Big love, John.